What's up guys, welcome back to a new Kengan Omega chapter video. Today we have chapter 132. As a whole, it was a fairly decent chapter. We finally got more information regarding the Kure techniques and some explanation about the Kure clan. Just some long awaited information finally being revealed, which is pretty cool. And of course the fight between Lolong and Ohma heating up quite a bit, with Ohma pulling some very stylistic Kure techniques out, and Lolong seeming to be very serious in the final panel. Quite a bit to talk about. Hope you enjoy. If you do, make sure to subscribe, leave a like to help the video out. Now let's begin. So the starting portion of today's chapter is covering what Ohma was doing during the 2-year time skip. Of course, the title, the Kure family tradition. We see Irio asking Ohma if he wants to learn the techniques, and of course we have Best Girl helping Ohma in the training. So let's talk about the first major reveal we got regarding the Kure clan techniques. They're pretty much broken up into two. The first is the Kure clan tradition techniques, which is a system of techniques suited for assassinations. We've seen one of them for an example being Lion Bite, and then the Kure family tradition techniques, with these ones being suited for combat sports. And Ohma is only learning the Kure family tradition techniques, and he doesn't have any need for the assassination ones. We see a little bit of Ohma's training, of course dealing with some bullets like an absolute madman, but the training does seem similar to what Kuroki's initial training was in his flashback, where he pretty much mastered pre-initiative with the same pots. As we know, the Kure clan are notorious in stealing techniques and pretty much perfecting them. So maybe the Kure clan at some point stole this form of training from wherever the K1 style first got it from, or something like that. But yeah, pretty interesting, and I like that parallel between Ohma and Kuroki. We also get it confirmed that the removal is part of the Kure clan, but again is separate from the two versions of techniques I just talked about, and it's not something ordinary humans should use. So of course Ohma didn't learn the removal. Finally, people can stop asking about Ohma using removal X advance. Of course, his body wouldn't be able to handle it, and he would probably die if he even tried doing that. So Ohma does not know removal. I'm glad that finally got clarified, because if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit over those comments on videos. Apart from that, we get a little bit of information regarding the Kure family in the past, and how the Kure family tradition techniques were initially only passed down through the main line, but that tradition has pretty much disappeared for as long as Irio has been the leader. And of course, you need to give some respect to the first Tanga Metsudo. We see Kure Irio catching a bullet with his pipe like an absolute beast. So even though he's an old man, he can still probably body a large amount of people. We get it confirmed that Kure Kala will inherit the post of the Kure clan leader at some point in the future, as she's the grandchild of Kure Irio and one of the Kure members with the highest removal percentage. So interesting that that got revealed as well. Some light-hearted interaction about Ohma marrying Kure Kala at some point, but of course Ohma still doesn't acknowledge that and still isn't, in line with actually doing that. It's still, a very one-sided relationship, and that's pretty much everything regarding the flashback. So now cutting back to the fight between Lolong and Ohma, still very relative to one another. Each of them are dodging, parrying, and no one's landing a clean blow. We have Ohma using a Kure family tradition technique known as Silhouette, which seems like a dodging based technique. He may have actually landed a strike on Lolong's leg here, but of course that didn't do any relevant damage, and this seemed to be a more dodging based Kure clan technique. With Ohma even saying here, I couldn't have fought that far up close with the Nico style. So the Kure clan techniques are better for extreme close combat than anything in Ohma's Nico style arsenal, which is very interesting, and very clearly the mastery of the techniques are pretty much relative to Lolong Salat. We see both of them preparing to fight again, and Lolong doing this strange thing with his fingers. Ohma thinks it's perhaps measuring the distance, or he's trying to find his median line, but again he's not too sure what Lolong's doing here. It could be perhaps him preparing to change styles, but before Ohma can fully work out what he's doing, Lolong goes for a kick, but of course it was a bait, allowing Lolong to land some strikes on Ohma here. It could be just the pre-initiative battle again, where Lolong is predicting further, but it did seem like Lolong pretty much outplayed him with the feint here. So we have Lolong landing a fury of blows again, pushing Ohma all the way back to the edge of the ring, with Ohma being in danger of being ringed out, and these blows are being blocked by Ohma, but you can see from Ohma's face, they are doing pretty decent damage. And then Ohma does some crazy Kurei clan magic, I'm gonna call it. He pretty much flips forward and like spins around. We see crazy reactions from Carlos and Yamashita. Kurei family tradition, heaven shaking supreme fang. A very badass name for a technique, and lands a direct strike on the back of Lolong's neck, I believe, which actually sends Lolong on the ground. He puts one hand on the ground but doesn't completely fall down, and counters with another strike which sends Ohma back, with Ohma pointing out that even the heaven shaking supreme fang couldn't bring him down, showing Lolong's durability, calling him a genuine monster again, and then Lolong just cracking his neck. Well, this has been entertaining. So my prediction for next chapter, we're going to see a very serious Lolong, most likely pull out a new style, perhaps Kali as everyone's been waiting for, and start beating on Ohma, forcing Ohma to pull out the Nikko style techniques. I forgot to mention earlier, but when Ohma was talking about the proficiency of the Kurei clan techniques in close combat compared to his Nikko style, we see a panel of Lolong saying the following: "It's been ages since my blood boiled like this." Meaning Lolong is already getting a lot more respect from Lolong than many other characters have gotten so far in the tournament. But yeah, the Kurei techniques, very cool and stylistic. The heaven shaking supreme fang seem to be like a more ultimate or one of the stronger Kurei family techniques, due to Ohma's, very surprised reaction to Lolong pretty much firming the blow with no real injury, only like getting caught off surprise, putting his hand on the ground and straight away going for another attack. People have been predicting that maybe Lolong has a similar like muscle density thing to Waka, but that wouldn't really make too much sense considering his weight, even though his muscles do look like a lot more puffier and like bigger to someone like Ohma. Lolong is still around the same weight as Ohma, which is, one of the confusing aspects about him. But yeah, his durability may just be, very high. Apart from that, Carlos's reaction, especially in the final pages, seems to imply Lolong has never actually been pushed this far before. Like, Ohma landing that attack pretty much shocked Carlos to his core, which is pretty interesting and gives our boy Ohma that hype he deserves. He was also most likely using the Nikko style indestructible to firm most of those blows when Lolong outplayed him in the middle of the chapter. So next chapter, I'm expecting perhaps we're going to get some Lolong flashback or some more information about Lolong as he switches up his fighting style perhaps, and Ohma being pushed to pull out some crazy Nikko style techniques, because it's been 3 chapters and the only Nikko style techniques he's used is indestructible. Which, to be honest, is very surprising considering who we're talking about, Ohma, the Nikko style spammer. I don't think we're going to see advance next chapter, and I don't think we're going to get too much backstory about Ohma. I think that's pretty much everything we really needed to cover. Unless we actually get to see some sparring with Kerr Ryan when he pulls out something else, which could be pretty interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for today's video. If you haven't already, make sure to follow the Twitter for more greatness. Join the Discord to talk more about Kengan or any other series. And as always, shout out to the people who support the channel via the Patreon. But yep, that's it guys. Peace.